Okay, I had a look at your video and I thought to myself, well, I like this guy, he's making, a good statement, but then I realized that I personally believe that he missed the point. I mean, there's a reason why many comedians aren't going after MJ right now. There's a reason why many people are holding back from the controversy of his life. There's a reason why there's so many tributes for the guy. And I'm going to admit this right now, I mean, I'm a Michael Jackson fan myself. However, I'm not going to let that get in the way of my explanation of this belief. Jamie Foxx is a prime character of a comedian who used to make fun of the guy, but right now stopped making fun. I mean, he was at the BET Awards and he paid serious tribute to MJ. But I think 5 years earlier on, during a stand-up comedy routine, he made fun about Michael Jackson, made jokes about Michael Jackson. And one thing I've seen people in YouTube, and I've seen many people say, it's like they're kind of confessing, oh yeah, I used to make jokes about Michael Jackson, fuck it, I used to make jokes about MJ right now, so I'm going to continue on. It's quite hypocritical to now stop making jokes all of a sudden. No, Jamie Foxx is actually a prime character of somebody who used to make fun of Michael Jackson before he was dead, but now he realized it. During an interview with, I think, I can't remember what the publication was, he mentioned that MJ was a prime example of somebody who was taken for granted. He said he was somebody who's, particularly in the last 10 years of his life, he was taken for granted, and we really just hope that we can brush all the bad things, all the controversy aside, and just appreciate what he gave us, which was the gift of music. He gave us music, he gave us dance, he was a really big cultural icon. And so that's the main reason. It's not the fact that MJ was somebody who had loads of controversy, so you're going to balance out. If you used to joke about the guy, you can continue joking about the guy. I mean, you probably think that you're being an, I'm not trying to attack you, but you probably think that you're being an Eminem type of character who's saying the things that people think but they don't really want to say because they're not confident enough, or you probably think they're being one of the most outspoken characters out there. But to be honest, you're just missing the point. I mean, MJ is somebody who, the saddest part about his life, without a doubt, is the fact that because of all the hateful abuse that he was getting, because of all the hateful publications, because of all the negative media that he was getting, he sadly died, possibly thinking that so many millions of people in the world actually hate him, the man. And it struck me as quite sad, because I mean, I'm an MJ fan myself, I said, but I mean, it almost seemed like it felt like he had something to prove. Unless he wasn't dancing, unless he wasn't touring, unless he wasn't making music, people were just out there to getting people out there to commit slander. And that's the saddest. It's not like he died like any other celebrity. He died probably thinking that many people, he was never at peace. And during his memorial, one of his brothers, I think it was Marlon, who mentioned that so many hateful publications were made about him, but right now people just hope that he could at least live in peace. So I mean, my friend, I mean, I knew that you're trying to be creative, but that was the main reason why people are backing off the whole MJ thing. And I'll just give you another thing. People think that, oh yeah, you're having two sides. It's not that we can't make fun of somebody who's dead. That's not the point. I mean, for example, when Frank Sinatra died, very few people talked about his ties with the mob. He had some serious ties with the mob, and I only knew about it until 4 or 5 years ago. And the reason why is because many people just brushed aside those allegations. And I mean, people said, I mean, I'm a journalist myself, and people said, why should we brush all these things aside? And we were journalists. Yeah, you can be journalists and you can give two sides of the story, but I mean, you just can be completely unfair, because this is somebody who was, in the last 15 years of his life, ever since the 90s to be honest, he was only known for being controversial, despite the fact that he'd given so much. And yeah, I mean, another thing about Michael Jackson, which is the sad part about human nature, on top of the fact that we never appreciate things until they're gone, if he was so much more of a badass, if he was so much more of a gangster character, honestly speaking, he wouldn't have had so much hateful attention. He wouldn't have gotten so much negative attention. I mean, we tend not to support those people who are more sensitive, childlike characters at heart. We tend not to support those people who are nice. And I mean, DMX, for example, he's had several allegations of gun possession, animal cruelty. Mystical, the rapper, pleaded guilty to sexual battery and rape. James Brown, God bless his soul, the Godfather's soul, I mean, he I mean, he was accused of domestic violence on several occasions, but all those things were brushed aside because those characters were at least more hardcore than Michael Jackson himself. And I always thought to myself, if Michael Jackson wasn't all sensitive type of character, I mean, I believe that people wouldn't have been so quick to judge him. People would have been so quick to make fun of him, to take advantage of him. And another thing, I mean, I wanted to tie this back to your video, but I mean, you're probably the type of person who would expect to defend Peter King for saying what he feels. And let me be honest with you, there's a big difference between freedom of speech and slander. And I think when Peter, as a pure example, I mean, many people think that Peter King right now is racist. Many people have been accusing him of being a racist. And when he dies, I doubt that his family would be so okay for people to refer to him as a racist, their version of freedom of speech, because that's not what he wants to be remembered as. And you just have to understand that I mean, for example, he called Michael Jackson a pedophile, and that is something where you just do not go. I mean, this is a man who's going to get buried. This is a man who had died. This is a man who had been seen all these hateful comments, all these negative media for such a long time, that to call him a pedophile even when he's dead, to not even allow him to be at peace when he's dead, is just disgusting. And Bill O'Reilly, I don't want to talk about him because, personally speaking, I think he's an ignorant racist. I mean, he said, it's freedom of speech. He's allowed to say what he is allowed to say. But I mean, Bill O'Reilly is a guy who's had his facts wrong. Bill O'Reilly is the type of person who I genuinely believe he says all the racist things that he wants until people actually accuse him of his statements, and then he uses his television as a platform to air his comments, saying that, those people who said that I was being racist aren't smart enough to really understand the true meaning of what I was saying. And just back to your video, as I said, I thought it was quite cool because you're attacking the hypocrites, people who were originally really, I mean, you're attacking people who made fun of him during his life, but then you mentioned, when Michael Jackson died, and he probably died, choking on some boy's semen, and you're probably gonna hate him because of that. Dude, there's a reason why people aren't going to be saying that, particularly black comedians. I'll give you a perfect example. One of the best comedians on earth, Chris Rock, mentioned that, as a joke, all comedians should just cut the Jackson family a check. And there's just a perfect example of the reason why the MJ himself, he'd seen, this is a guy he'd seen so much hate ever since the 90s. He'd seen so many jokes before when you were walking around in nappies, dude. I mean, he had seen them. So every joke in the book he had seen it, and it's just sad to think that because of all this hateful mail, he actually died never really realizing how much people, cared for him. So, I mean, just to round everything up, if you want to make videos about MJ, that's fine. If you want to go and make things, I mean, I can't tell you what not to do, but if you want to make videos about MJ, that's fine. But I just want you to really take note and understand that there's a reason why there are so many good tributes to the guy. There's a reason why there's this overflow of affection towards Michael Jackson, because people never really got the chance to say what he really meant to them. He meant so much to so many people, but because we live in a society which doesn't appreciate people till they're gone, nobody really got the chance to tell the guy how much he meant to them. So that's the main reason why there's this affection. This is not a guy who was a once in a lifetime. This is somebody who's, particularly in the black community, I mean, the black community is not going to see somebody, such a big artist like Michael Jackson again. Somebody who's going to revolutionize music videos, dance, all these types of things again. So the fact that we just took him for granted is sad on our part, and I personally just think that it's sick for anybody else to continue making jokes about the guy without realizing why people are giving tribute. I mean, it's not some South Park type thing whereby you say the thing whereby people, are afraid to say. I mean, you just have to understand that this is a guy who's seen it all, seen all the jokes, seen all the allegations, seen all the abuse, and he sadly died only with that. He knew, fair enough, he had quite a number of fans, because, I mean, he deserves a lot of fans, but I mean, at the end of the day, he probably thought that as a person, as a human being, so many people hated him because he was portrayed so badly by the media, and that, my friend, is why there's so many tributes.